Hey guys, so today's video is going to be changing out this breaker box to one that's got more circuits in it. And we're not really changing the amperage. This is ran off a 60 amp breaker from the main breaker box. And the new box is rated for up to 125 amps, but it's not going to be used at full amperage capacity. We're just gaining more circuits. And like I need, just to give you an example what I need to add to it, there'll be another 220 breaker for the heater, another 220 breaker for the welder hookup, and approximately two more 120 circuits for receptacles to run down through here for the workbench. And it'd be all for right now. So I'm not adding a whole lot more to it. The biggest load will be the heater. And it's not like everything's gonna be on at the same time in here, so it shouldn't be an issue. If it is, then we'll run bigger wire and up the breaker feeding it to 100 or 125 amp, because the main panel in the house is a 200 amp box. It's a square D. This is a GE. So yeah, let's just get started. Let's take the cover off. Now obviously we're going to be shutting the power off to the garage here at some point, so I'll be losing my LED lighting for temporary, but I'll hook up one of the shop lights and another work light I got to give me a little bit of light until I can get at least some of the circuits on. But I do have to label some of it, which is going to be probably challenging. Like this here is for the pool, and this is the dryer. And they got this wire pigtailed on that one. You know, that's a big no-no doing something like that, especially on a 220 circuit. Freezer, I'm not real sure what circuit that's controlling. So just going to have to play it by ear and try to get the main circuits hooked up first. This video is not going to be 100% step by step. I don't want to bore you because it's going to take a while to do this, especially if I'm making a video. So I'm just going to kind of hit and miss one, but I want to make a video showing you what I'm doing to get the electric going on in here. This will be the first step. So just bear with me, guys, and we'll get this garage fixed up. We'll get back to small engine repair. I know everybody's wanting to see more of that, but next couple months is going to be videos on fixing this garage up. That's all I can do for right now. I might try to mix something in if I can. It just depends on how things are going. But this is one major thing I need to do in here before I can really do too much more. Start by taking the cover off so we can start labeling some stuff before we get too carried away. That way I can get the main circuits back on first. So there's the main feed coming in, 220, of course. The white here is the other one that's coming in there. It's wired fairly neatly except for the, I thought those were splices at first, but there's something else ran here. We don't know what that is, so we'll have to figure that out as we go, I guess. But it's going to be a pretty good little job changing everything over. So here's what I was talking about, where they got that pigtail on the dryer breaker. That's a no-no. Even got the ground doubled on that. And there's another breaker that's got two wires coming off of it. There's one there. I thought I seen another one somewhere else, but so that's not good. You're not, if you get a picky inspector, especially when it's not permitted at all on new construction, but if you got an old breaker box like this, inspector might have something to say about that. One good thing, looks like there's plenty of wire to work with, so hopefully we won't have to have a problem with that. But for right now, I'm just going to start labeling some circuits that I know. I think one of these is that's the light circuit right here, so we know that that's for the lights, and this is for the dryer. So let me try to label some of this, and we'll get right back to you. I'm also going to be removing this cover up here. First of all, in case I have a little bit of play in the breaker box, I'm going to mark this where it's at. That way, if I'm out the other box before I put this back up, I know how far I can go. Pull the screws out. Let's see what we got. So here's the new box. You can see it's considerably bigger, and it's presenting a problem because that conduit coming in on an offset. So if I offset the breaker box, make the conduit come in the middle of it, it's going to mess up where that tray goes in up here. So I'm not going to be able to do that, or have to reset all that, and it'll just be more trouble than it's worth. So I'm just going to have to drill this out so that conduit will fit on that side, and just hope for the best. My step bits go up to 1 3/8. I don't have to check and see if it's big enough or not. Not sure. If it is, that'll be perfect. It'll go right through it. Okay, so I think I got this marked right. Like I said, I couldn't do it here in the center, so I'm going to have to drill this out. I don't like doing this, but I don't have much choice. If they had another big knockout over here, it'd been fine, but this one's not big enough, and it needs to be up more. So I'm bringing it over just a little bit. I already got the hole marked right here. This is a 2 1/8 hole saw. I really only needed a 2-inch, but this is the only one Lowe's had right now. So let's just go for it. There's no turning back once I do this, because I can't take the box back. Okay guys, let me bring you up to speed here a little bit. We got the box mounted. You see I used Tapcon screws to hold it on. These two actually broke for some reason, or went into that mortar for some reason, so I had to drill and put 2 more there, and the box is pretty strong. It's pretty level. I do got to tighten that nut up a little bit. Hit the neutral coming in here. We are going to have to put a bonding screw in to bond the box to the bus bar. And like I said, this will be where your grounding or your bare wire will connect, and this wouldn't normally be like your neutral bus, your grounding bus. And this would be your neutral bus. This box is set up slightly different. We're going to set up in a traditional way with all the neutrals on one side and all the groundings on this side. There is a torque specs on these lugs, and you want to torque them down to spec. All that information will be right here in the box. And you're also supposed to torque the screws on the breakers. Most people don't do it, but you are supposed to. And these two, so it's something you got to pay attention to. And remember, if you start getting some circuits wired up and you want to turn the power on, I mean, technically you can, but just remember this bus is going to be hot. Like I don't even like touching it right now because you're so used to that being hot all the time. And it's easy to slip and get into the power, so you just got to be careful with that. But I don't recommend wiring it hot at all, but it is something that you can do if you're comfortable enough, or if you have to, just be extremely careful. So like I said, this is the dryer right here, what this is. So you get the red and black, that's the 220, and it had a neutral, and it did not have a bare for the ground. Just a 3-wire. It's typical for the older style. Nowadays you have a neutral and a ground, and this one right here is going into another circuit, which I think is like the outside lights. This is the outside wire that runs around the pool, and it's just coming in on a regular 20-amp breaker. These are the old GE breakers. You really got to work with them to get them in, but they do fit. They're just a very snug fit. So the way I'm going to do this is keep all the 220 breakers on this side and the single poles on this side as much as I can. And some people think it makes your load unbalanced, but it's really the same, because each one, it's alternating all the way down anyway, so it don't really matter as far as that goes. It's just a personal preference. I've always liked to do that. So we're going to have, this is the dryer. There's going to be one feeding the pump house pool, the heater, then I'll be putting the welder in. I don't think I had the breaker for the welder. I might, I'm not sure. and all the single ones here. And if we run out of space, I'll start bringing them up, down from that side. But so we'll look at it again here in a minute. We'll start running some more circuits in. Okay guys, so you can see I got everything wired here and pulled in. I did do an Uno over here. I double tapped a couple breakers, but I didn't have much choice. That's the way they had it before, and it just, even with the bigger box, if I did everything separate, it still wouldn't be enough breakers. And if you see these two, it's wire netted off. That was the way it was in the other box. I don't know what those are for. It might be going to something that's unhooked, so I just left it alone. If we ever run into something dead around here, we'll try to hook it up and see what it is. I did wire up the 50 amp breaker here for the welder. I mean, I didn't wire it, I just put it in here. That way it'll be ready to wire up for, I'm probably just gonna put the plug like right over here so I don't have to run too much wire. I do have 8 foot of the 6 gauge wire for that. You don't want to do this unless you have to. This one wire was short. All the wires are supposed to be on the other side of this divider piece. So, I mean, that circuit should have been added first, but I wasn't aware that it was shorter, so it was just too late to do anything about it. If you absolutely have to, you can splice in extension wires for the breakers when you do this. It's frowned upon. Some inspectors will pick at it and won't like it, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But I got lucky this time. Only this one was short, and it wasn't enough to worry about. I could probably almost pull it enough to get it close. I mean, like I said, it's not gonna be inspected. It's fine. It's up to the code of the previous breaker box, not so much current code, but it will be safe and it will work just fine. It still looks like a rat's nest, but it's okay. And I'm not the neatest when it comes to wiring stuff. I try my best. It's hard to work with old wire. If everything was new, it would be better. So we'll go ahead and get the power on and start kicking some breakers back on and see what happens. Okay, so I got all the light switches on, so they should come on with this, and they do. All of them came on. Go ahead and kick all of them on. Should be good to go. The heater should come on. The washer circuit's on. Everything appears to be working, guys. There will be one more 220 breaker here. There'll be another 30 amp. If you remember my old videos, I got that knife switch from my old workbench. I want to wire that up for working with stuff on the workbench. It's handy to have a 220 on the workbench for, sometimes I like to experiment with high voltage transformers and stuff, or run the 3-phase motor off the frequency inverter. Variable frequency drive, so it's nice to have different things to work with, So that's pretty much it. So the next thing you'll see will be the wiring of that. So we got 1, 2, 3 spaces here left. After I do that, it'll be 2. So we got plenty to work with, because there will be another 20 amp breaker coming off here for the receptacles for the workbench. It'll probably be 2. I want to split that up. That's going to be where most of the load is in there. I'm not too worried about these double breakers. I know, don't judge me on that. I hate doing that, but sometimes you just don't have a choice the way things are wired. And it looks like everything, like all the receptacles are like on individual circuits here, so if that's what it is, it's going to be fine for what I'm using it for. So I also want to give a little tip on here. I'll get ready to put the cover back on for right now, because I'm just going to wait till in the morning to wire up the welder receptacle, but I want to put the cover back on right now just to make it safe. But I count off, there's 9 single breakers here, and this is taking up 8. There's 4 double pole breakers. So you always want to mark on here before you start busting these out, because you don't want to break off more than you need to, because they do make blank covers for that, but it just don't look as good. So you just want to make sure you count everything off right before you start taking these out. Okay guys, so I got kind of ahead of myself and started painting. So this is going to be all you'll see on this video. Just wanted to, I know it wasn't a step-by-step guide, but hopefully you pick up a few pointers from changing the breaker box. I know there will be more electrical videos. We will be showing hooking up the 220 volt welder receptacle, and also be hooking up my knife switch probably right here beside this, just so everything just kind of flows, And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. That way, I know I said in there I was going to show wiring that, but we're just going to keep this video a little short. So I just wanted to let you know about that, and stay tuned for the painting and video on sealing up the garage. Hopefully this will help keep some water out. There's a lot more to come, guys. Just be patient with me. And a little spoiler alert, I ordered another diesel engine, so we're going to have something else to play with here soon. So there'll be a video just one unboxing that and everything here in about 2 or 3 weeks probably. So stay tuned for that. That might be the first small engine video in the garage. What's going to come next is probably the painting video, and then the video on building the workbench and mounting vices and stuff to the workbench. Then there'll be the video on that engine. Then the 2 generators probably. We'll just have to go from there because I don't really have a whole lot planned other than what's on that list, and it's just going to be kind of hit and miss. So just bear with me, guys, and be patient. And I'm trying to answer as many comments as I can. I'm just not able to answer all of them right now. I'm trying to keep up with the latest ones on the newest videos right now. So I'm sorry for not answering questions and stuff. I just don't have the time right now. So I appreciate the patience and thank you for understanding that. And thanks for watching, guys. You all been very supportive, and I really appreciate that. So stay tuned for a lot more content. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.